You ever have one of those days where you've planned everything out and then all of your plans fall through, right? I'm actually having one of those right now. So the question is, how do you rebound from that, right? How do you persevere? How do you keep going? Well, one of the things that I know for sure is that quotes, affirmations, and journaling are great tools for helping us shift our mindsets. And in today's mindful moment, this reflective space, this storytelling meets TED Talk, whatever you want to call it, I'll share how journaling helps me to reflect on my own personal growth, especially in moments like today where like literally all of the plans are they just falling through. Well, let's begin with our quote. Our quote is, I used to want my tombstones to say that she tried. Now I want it to say she did it. Now, I can't take credit for those amazing wise words. They're actually coming from the wonderful Dr. Catherine Dunham. But here's three things that I want you to remember. Number one, there are a number of reasons that you can cry in any given day. Number two, choose if those reasons are going to be tears of joy or tears of sorrow. And then number three, do one thing today, just one thing that brings you joy and possibly makes the world a better place. Yeah. My name is Maya D, and I'm a storyteller by trade. I've done so for the most part through dance, and more recently, I've been doing it through writing, most of which has been coming from my journaling because journaling encourages self awareness, that reflective space, and so forth. As a child, my mother told me, suggested that I journal and write things out before we had some of our tougher conversations. And to be honest, she didn't put it that nicely. Regardless, the benefit of the journaling was actually still known, which was it allowed me to reflect on my feelings, kind of like work through my feelings before I came to have that hard discussion with her. And as a result, I oftentimes ended up not with less of a punishment because I wasn't in that heated space, right? So, one of the benefits of journaling, I want to share one of my reflections with you right now. So feel free to go ahead and get cozy. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to press the pause right now and go ahead and do whatever you need to do to get cozy, or feel free to just let it play in the background while you finish up whatever activity you're doing. Either way, I encourage you to ask questions because the idea behind this is sharing is caring. So, through the sharing of my reflections, maybe it inspires you to share something. And through that exchange, we all grow better together. So, here we go. Remember, though, remember, these reflections are pulled from my journal. So, they're not elaborate works of art, but an intention to share some insight of where and how journaling has illuminated something for me. I offer this reflection for those questioning how they gonna make it through when all the plans keep falling through. Here we go. I do have some notes right here because I want to make sure that I'm not rambling. So my notes are that journal excerpt. Reminder number one, there are a number of reasons why you could cry today. I woke up that morning with a decision that it would be a good day. And I knew I could make that happen because I am in charge of my actions and my reactions. It was my son's 19th birthday, and he only asked for two things: to go to the community pool and to have a tasty dinner. Surely my 19-year-old son could have asked for much more, so I was determined to make these two things happen. I had no idea how much the pool cost. I was back in Maryland while living in the Midwest. Had no idea how much the pool cost, and was pleased to find out that the pools were free for that summer. Yes, that's a win. But we were supposed to reserve our spots 5 days ahead of time, so 5 days in advance. But no worries, it was going to be a good day. My youngest son and I headed to the car about an hour before the swim time was supposed to happen, hopefully to secure that space in the pool, only to find a flat tire. Hmm. I sent an update in the group text, to which his father replied he would come to our rescue, and to which the birthday boy replied, "Okay, we'll be in the pool." His father and his motorcycle arrived, all prepared to change the tire, but that Volkswagen anti theft system, the key system, it won that day because for whatever reason, that key could not be found. For whatever reason. Okay, okay. Remember, number two, choose if your tears will be tears of sorrow or tears of joy. His father decided to put air in the tire so we could make it to the pool and promised that he would refill it if need be. Everything seemed to have worked out because the birthday boy and his girlfriend had not made it to that 2 p.m. swim time. So now we would all make it for the 3 p.m. swim time. Come on, universe. Slowly, my youngest and I drove to Druid Hill Park, excited to see the updates that had been made to the pool. Remember, because we were living in the Midwest, so we didn't know what the new updated pool looked like here. But that was thwarted because my instincts actually directed me to one of the older pools, more specifically the colored only pool. If you're interested in that, I'm going to leave a link in the details below so that you can read the history about the pool. Try as I might, I could not leave the area. I just kept circling around and circling around. Metal railings, partially submerged in the grass, are the only visual markers of this pool. So I opted to use this time as a mini history lesson for my son, since our family has lived in Baltimore City for about 4 generations now. The children's aunt called, and I told her we were lost in the park. And the birthday boy yelled from the background, "See you when you get here." We made it to the new pool just in enough time to be told that they were above capacity, so there would be no swimming for us today. Okay, but the birthday boy made it. He got his wish. I decided that I might as well get my tire fixed at one of the local shops. At the tire spot, I learned that none of my tires, none of them were in good shape and would allow me to safely drive back to the Midwest. I needed 4 tires, but I could only afford 2. The technician decided to replace the worst tire. And after a 2-hour delay, sitting very coldly in my swimsuit in the place, I got to leave. I drove away with 2 tires, 2 new tires, right? And a patch tire because the nail that was in the tire, that one actually had the best tread on it. Come on now, like you was a flat tire, but you the one with the best tread. So okay. They say life is a thing that happens between your plans, excuse me. It didn't matter that everything I'd planned went differently than I planned because the true plan was for us to have a good day and to see the smile on my son's face at that dinner table. And as cheesy as it may sound, I did get to see him smile when we got to dinner, and the food was amazing. Number 3, do one thing that brings you joy and possibly brightens the world. Now, it may sound cheesy that I continue to be on a positive, think about the brighter side in each and every one of those turns. But let me be clear, it was work. The day was definitely an adventure. And when I wrote in my journal that night, I realized that day was really like a testimony to my own personal growth. I like to say this: testimonies require a test. I planned to have a good day, and I was truly tested. Actually, let me rephrase that. My ex husband coming to my rescue was a testimony of our growth in our co parenting journey. We've had our ups and downs. So, check right there, growth. A few years ago, I would not have been able to easily swipe for those 2 brand new tires. So that was a testimony of my financial growth. Check right there. After writing this in my journal, I realized that my son also taught me a very valuable lesson during that day. We must be dedicated to our personal happiness, our joy, and our personal paths. Our loved ones might not be there for every step on our path, and that's okay. lesson from my then 19-year-old. At a young age, my mother introduced me to the therapeutic qualities of journaling. And because of it, I've made it through some of my challenging times, like today, or like that day, rather. Um, it was because I've practiced journaling on a regular basis that I knew that after that stressful day, it was a good idea for me to sit down and journal and get some of that out of my system, right? I believe that sharing my stories will help someone find the answer to their own questions. Um, or maybe just feel like you're not the only one going through some of these things. So I'm committed to the sharing. But let me tell you, it's not always easy to keep up these agreements with myself and with the universe. I don't journal every day, but I would still say that I journal regularly. And I would also say that things change, right? So leaning into the changes that life is affording us. When I look at my life now, it's very different than my life pre-COVID. It was structured very differently. So I had time to sit down and write and journal and pray and meditate every day. And that's not how my life is now. And because of that, there's a certain level of uncertainty. There's a certain level of uncertainty that happens in my day because I don't have that time dedicated. If I don't dedicate time to journaling, to reflective practices, so I have to, if I want to maintain a like, whew, right? Because otherwise, my anxiety and my desire to be a good mother, a good professor, a good person, a good human will get the best of me. I found that I've had to give myself some grace and patience and or actually I found that I have to give myself the same patience and grace that I offer other people, right? Treats I have to treat myself the way I treat other people. I've learned things like um, the plan in my head might not look the same when it manifests in this reality, and that's okay, right? We must be flexible and adapt to the spaces that we're in. I've learned that mistakes are just unplanned lessons, right? So we're okay, we're going to make it through. And I hope that you're seeing the trend. The idea is that I'm getting it done, even if it's challenging, even if it's not as smooth as I thought it was, I'm getting it done. They say that life is the thing that happens between your plans. So I plan to be in the moment, and otherwise, I just might miss out on the adventures that the day holds. In the words of the wise Catherine Dunham, I used to want my tombstone to say, she tried. And now I want it to say, she did it. Three things to remember. There will always be a reason to cry in a day. You get to decide whether they're going to be tears of joy or tears of sorrow. So do one thing in that day that brings you joy and possibly makes the world a better place. Quotes, affirmation, and journaling has definitely been my tool for shifting my mindset. And I've included links to some affirmations and journals and so forth in the details below. So check them out. And as a bonus, here's a journal prompt for you. Give you a second, pause if you need to, right? So you can get your writing utensil. Here's a question. Here's the prompt. Tell me about a time when life went opposite of your plan. How did you recover and what did you learn? Feel free to share your thoughts, your response in the comments below, or just drop a book emoji so that I know that you are here with me. I hope that you've enjoyed this time. Uh, this is an extension of work that I started about 4 years ago when I started collecting these quotes from wise women and using them as reminders to help me get through my day. I began to write those quotes and these affirmations, these reminders next to them, and noticed that there was this alignment between the reminders and the quotes. It was almost like the quotes and the reminders were inspiring me, reminding me of times when I demonstrated the very thing that that quote or that affirmation spoke to. I hope that you've enjoyed this mindful moment, this moment of reflection. And I hope to see you soon. This is day 26 of my 30 days of sharing. So please like and subscribe if you like this video or found it interesting in any other kind of way. We got a few more days to go and some other videos for you to check out. Take care, and I'll see you soon.